I just saw an Instagram reel about the fear of forgetting. So I'm gonna make this video to talk about how I'm feeling at this current exact moment in my life and who I am, first of all. So posting these videos, there's a bunch of videos on my channel right now that are very scattered, and I'm very not good at speaking. I'm not very good at putting my feelings and what I'm trying to say in words, which will come hopefully with me reading more and with me interacting with more people and trying to explain complex problems. But the point being is there's a bunch of videos on my channel and they're not very good. Like, I don't explain things. I don't know how to put the feelings of what I'm feeling into the right words. Um, it's funny because I'm just a regular guy, right? And I'm just not any regular guy. I feel like I have had a very unique life experience. First of all, I literally just grew up in Afghanistan. Like, I experienced a very village life. I lived in Bamyan, Afghanistan. I went to school there, elementary. I went to middle school, some of it as well. Um, and in Kabul and in Bamyan, Afghanistan, I experienced like the village life and then that big family life with all of my cousins back home, and just experiencing like fucked up shit in Afghanistan. Like, you just sit around one day, you're going to school and you just hear in the distance like boom, and then you wonder like, oh shit, like which place in Kabul got bombed, and then you would go home and then your mom was like on the phone with a bunch of relatives and checking up on them if everyone is okay in the family. So just like growing up in Afghanistan, I came to Canada as a refugee when I was 13 years old. I didn't know any English at the time. I just literally basically learned English from the ABCs, and kind of spent middle school just adapting to the new environment. Just the whole, like, my family just dropped everything. It's just me, my little sister, and my parents, and we've come to a small city in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I don't know if you guys know, but it's like in the edge of the map on the east coast of Canada, and we don't have any relatives. The closest relative we have is in California. We don't have any other relatives other than in Afghanistan. And it's been I've had a pretty, like, of course, like shit could always be worse, but I've had a pretty challenging and unique life compared to the people that I talk to every day. And I know, like, there's literally millions of refugees, but what makes me different is I feel like there's not many people that have come to Canada or the US at 13 as a refugee and is now at 22 running a multi-million-dollar AI tech startup, which I would never think that I would be, but I always knew like I'm built for something great. Like, I kind of spent middle school just adapting to my environment, trying to fit in, trying to make friends and not be seen as that fucking one immigrant kid that didn't speak any English. But so I adapted pretty quickly, kind of learned English, and then by the time I was in high school, I was like kind of just like my brain cells and my frontal lobe was as my frontal lobe was developing more, I kind of realized that, my parents are like, they didn't drop everything for me, just like try to act cool and try to fit in and try to get into fights and talk to a bunch of um girls and all day on Snapchat. So I saw trying as hard as possible, kind of not as hard as possible, but like trying in school more and getting better grades. I saw that as being the way to go, and I was just ended high school with like an average of 94%, which I kind of like, I took all the hard classes that I could. And then I also, while doing that, I needed a way to make money because I didn't have any money to buy Jordan 4s, and how my family was raising me on thrift stores and on fucking Walmart clothes, and since I wanted to fit in and be cool, I wanted better clothes. So I started like reselling sneakers on Facebook Marketplace and selling Dyson hair dryers and reselling AirPods. Anything that I could get my hands on, I would just sling that on Facebook Marketplace back in like COVID times. Oh my gosh. amazing times. And during high school, I made like more than $10,000 in cash just by reselling stuff. And that showed me like, hey, like I can do this. It wasn't very sustainable, but it just showed me who I was, and get to know myself a little more. And I was like, I'm like naturally like good at this. Like there's no one else that I know in my high school that is doing this. Like I was the richest kid in my high school that was making a lot of cash. So I then also realized that school is gonna get me nowhere. I wanted to, I don't know what I wanted to do. I enrolled in nursing. Don't ask me why. I would make a terrible nurse. I'm very happy that I didn't get into doing that because I had my dorm set up. I literally had the school accepted and I was planning on to move, but thank God I chose computer science, which was like the best decision I could have made possible because that was pre ChatGPT and pre AI. And once I got into computer science, I didn't know what coding was. Like I hadn't seen a single line of code before I chose computer science to be my degree, which is like crazy. And then as soon as I got into first year, like the second month of it, I realized that I do not know how to code. Like I hate this shit. I do not like coding. I don't even get it. But I stuck through with it. And now I'm in my last semester of fourth year, which is pretty crazy how far I've come, and I hope to finish it this semester. But the point being, where am I going with this? So I realized after the first year of university that holy shit, like it is fucked out there trying to get an internship, and I don't want an internship. I don't want to work in this field, and I don't want an internship. Like I have to do something of my own. And that was the time where I saw kids like Arb Khan and like a bunch of other of these kids like Blake, and like watching a bunch of Iman Ghazi and Alex Hormozy videos and trying to find like the way where I can make money on the internet, because I had previously, during this time, by the way, I'm just like working at Costco pushing carts during the summer and also sometimes during the breaks of my school. So I'm just constantly looking on the internet on how to make money. So I was trying to resell AI generated books that I was generating on ChatGPT on Pinterest, and that's how I came across WAP. WAP is a platform where you sell digital books and stuff. So and then when I listened more to like more of these like Brett Malinowski podcasts of all these kids, like how they were making money on the internet, it became clear to me of like what possible routes there were on the internet to make money, although I didn't have any knowledge of how to do it. But I knew that software as a service, like Arb was talking about all their friends and what he's building and what everyone else is building, and I was like, fuck, like we can do this. Like I'm in computer science, I have a bunch of smart friends, and I just kept looking at opportunities. And that's why that's where we, like last year this time, I started building. And I once I laid my hands on Cursor, it was over. Cursor, for those of you who don't know, is just like an AI IDE that you just type in English and it just writes the code for you. And it's kind of technical, like you have to be technical to understand how to use Cursor. But once I laid my hands on Cursor, it was absolutely over. So I started designing steadily back in December, and we launched it by February. And by mid-April, we had 150,000 users. And the only way we grew was just like posting slideshows ourselves on TikTok. And then over the summertime, back in April, we hit 26K MRR, and then we flatlined because summer started. And then over the summer, we try to lay all the foundations and try to build the best possible product that we could at the time. Like even though it wasn't great at all, like we have come a long way, and now Studly is like actually like one of the best study tools on the planet that I know of. But over the summertime, we laid the foundations, and we just fixed a bunch of things. It wasn't much, but once September hit, like since September until now, September 2025 to January 19th, 2026, we have grown from 200,000 users to 1.2 million users. So we've grown 2 million users, or 1 million users, sorry, in September, October, November, December, January, in 5 months. And we grew from, I think we went down to like $15,000 MRR to now being at 200 and like $75,000 MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue. And now it's just like everything. I'm just at the front lines of everything, and I've gotten this far, and I will try to get it to $1 million per month. And I know that it is super possible, and I will do it. It just takes a sheer amount of focus and grind and just delegation and building the right systems in place and building a really, really good product. And we will get there. Like, the TAM is absolutely insane. Like, every teenager and every student, every college student and a high school student, and even professionals need Studly. If you want to study something really, really well and internalize it, Studly is the platform to use. Like, ChatGPT and a bunch of other of these products is not as good enough. So the TAM, which is the total amount of market that you can cover, which is like the total potential users, is every student on earth, which is a shitload of people. That's like 1 billion people. And we just have 1.2 million of that. So that just shows you how insanely big Studly could go. Like, Quizlet has 60 million monthly active users. And most of that is just high school and college students. And we have our monthly active users is not all of that 1.2 million. So that just shows you how insanely huge this market is and how big we can actually take Studly. And now, am I the kid who grew up in Afghanistan until he was 13 and learned English when he was, and started learning English from the ABCs when he was 13 and came here as a refugee and fucking, I don't know, I don't have a technical background. Like, my dad is just a taxi driver and my mom's a stay-at-home mom here. But of course, like, I have good parenting and I grew up with good parents and a good family. Like, I was raised well by my mother. Shout out my mother. But I didn't grow up in a technical family where I was told, like, I was in the space of like, hey, like, this is what people are building. And I wasn't born in San Francisco or like in India in like some technical parenting household. So am I going to be the one that does it? Maybe. We'll see. Yes, I fucking will. I took it this far. I will bet on myself every single time, and I will make it possible, and I will do it. I Studly will hit $1 million monthly recurring revenue right now. So funny thing is, I have a bunch of videos of me just incrementally putting my goals on the whiteboard. So right now, as you can see, Studly AI 400K MRR by April 30th, 2026. And we will hit this. This has been going up since $10,000 monthly recurring revenue. I have incrementally set incremental goals ever since before $10,000 monthly recurring revenue. And it's pretty crazy, right? Like, we don't have to think about getting a job after we graduate, and we don't have to, we're so blessed. Like, I don't have to think about a lot of stuff. Like, if I get a parking ticket, I'm like, okay, be it. Parking ticket, woohoo, $40. Like, I still value the money, but it's just like, it doesn't stress me anymore. Of course, I need to build a foundation, but I still can take care of myself on a day-to-day basis, which I'm super, super grateful for. And I want to set up a good foundation where my sister is going to be good for the rest of her life, even if, like, I know she's going to have her whole career and her life ahead of her, but I want to just have that baseline for my family, like my mother, and my parents, and just make it so I don't have to worry. The good thing, the only reason I want to make money is not because a lot of people on the internet get motivated by seeing all the cars and all the girls and all the fucking shiny and rubbing elbows and taking pictures and aesthetics. Like, sure, that's cool, but that's just like decorations. They don't like, the reason I want to get rich is to have location and time freedom. For me and everyone that I love, I want to build opportunities for people. My parents came from Afghanistan, like dropped everything. They were doctors back in Afghanistan. They dropped everything to give me this life, and I'm their only son. And there's people counting on me, and there's a lot of people whose lives will change because I can make that possible. And if I don't have the resource and I don't have the money, then who's gonna do it? Nobody. There's kids that I grew up with in Afghanistan as my brothers and my sisters, my cousins, who I grew up with, and I saw them as my brothers and my sisters. They are struggling to pay rent, to know what their futures are gonna be like, that are living in uncertainty, who are struggling to even know what they're gonna eat for the next week. Trust me, I'm saying that and it sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I promise you, like, there's aunts and uncles and cousins that I have who I grew up with, who I'm in touch with, who are heavily struggling financially. And my goal is to not just help them month to month. Like the $100, $200, $300, $400, $500 per month is cool, which is like gonna feed them, but I want to build opportunities for those people, especially the girls. I want to build opportunities for all my cousins who are girls, because as you know, girls in Afghanistan are not allowed to go to school past 6th grade, which is fucked up. So I want to create opportunities for those guys and try to support them as much as possible, because they deserve a fucking life. I am fortunate enough to have this life and have all of this opportunity, but I can't forget who I grew up with, and those guys need saving. They simply do. I can be like, oh, it is what it is. I'm trying to live my own life, but that's a selfish life. I think as a man, the best thing you can do is take care of your people. And I know that sounds like, oh, it's not my responsibility, but it fucking is. If not me, then who? Think about it. I'm the only guy, I'm the only son my parents have, and I'm the only person from my entire bloodline who has all of this opportunity. Like I say this to all of my friends all the time, and I'm like, hey, we basically live in the 0.1% of the world. Like, think about how many people live in a first world country. Think about how many people live in a first world country, how many people are young, healthy, above the average intelligence and agency, handsome, charismatic, strong, caramel, fucking has the papow. No, there's not many. And if there are, then they don't have the drive. So I'm like positioned at a perfect place, especially with the time like we're living with AI and all this shit happening, and the knowledge that we know and the network that we have, and I have a bunch of smart friends, and we're all aligned on the same goals in life. Like, if not me, then who, bro? Dog, I'm telling you, this is fucking deeper than me. And I don't know where the goal of this video is, but I'm just like brain dumping, because like I said, I saw a video on Instagram Reels that said someone had a fear of forgetting, so they were keeping a bunch of like souvenirs from every place they visited. But I can't keep a fucking souvenir because I'm on my laptop working every single day. Boom, by the way, I got a new laptop. $4,000, 1 terabyte, 16 inches. And I couldn't do that if I didn't fucking work for it. And I'm blessed to have this. And guess what? I gave my old one to my little sister. So now she doesn't have to spend her money or my parents' money. And I bought this through the business, so I didn't even have to spend money on this. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm gonna make another video when we hit $400,000 monthly recurring revenue. It's just a numbers game at this point. And you might think, oh, like this guy's business makes $275,000 per month. He must be rich. I'm not. The reality of running a business like ours is there is so many costs. And then after the costs, the 50% that remains gets split between you and all your partners. But before it gets split, it gets taxed at 52% because we live in Canada. But what can I do? Canada saved my life. They brought me here. They housed me. They gave me a safe country that I can grow up in and not be bombed by the Taliban. Oh my gosh. Fuck. Who is watching? No one is watching this video. I'm just ranting to myself. But anyway, ciao.